Hello, friends, and welcome to The League of Extraordinary Bisexuals by Sarah Garcia. I'm your host, MagicManMo. In a world where some can see only in shades of pink, purple, and blue. Oh, I have to pick. I pick pink. I like red, and pink is pretty close to red. Rosa was one of these people. Together, along with two others, she was part of a superhero team called the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals. One day, on a mission against the supervillain Professor Goldstar, Rosa snuck into her enormous laboratory. Reaching a long split hallway, Rosa had to choose to go to the left, the right, or straight ahead. Well, left is always right, so let's do it. She went into the left and eventually reached a room full of chemicals and cages. Approaching the cages, she saw people within morphed into terrible beasts. Some clearly stuck forever mid-transformation. Rosa considered what to do next: unlock the cages, destroy the facility, or search for a cure. Well, I feel like if they're beasts, I don't know if they've lost their mind or not, so we probably want to do the cure? Compassion filling her heart, she searched around for a cure to undo the wrongs that had been committed. She checked the desk and filled beakers to discern their contents to no avail. Finally, finding some notes, she rifled through until she found a page mentioning a cure. It stated that one vial released into the air would cure all nearby. It also said that there was only one vial made and shelved inside a cabinet of this very room. She ran to that cabinet and searched rapidly for the place where this cure was located. To her surprise and disappointment, she found it empty. Then suddenly, from behind, "Oh, are you looking for this?" Rosa frowned and turned as she recognized the arrogant voice of Professor Goldstar. The professor stood on a floating star platform, holding a vial with a mocking grin on her face. "I knew one of you little twerps would come for this." "Why do you even want to stop me?" the villainess continued. "I'm just experimenting. Isn't that what you've been doing, you lug?" How Rosa chose to respond. She told the professor to go F herself. She corrected her calmly. She lunged for the vial. I think we're gonna just go for the vial. I don't really want to engage in this dialogue because she's trying to get into our heads, right? Go for the vial. I'm gonna lunge. Seeing the sudden act of violence, the professor moved her floating star out of the way and then dropped the vial below her, crushing it underfoot. "That's what you get for breaking my rules." It doesn't matter though, right? Because we have to release it into the air anyway. So it doesn't matter, right? Or am I wrong? Total mission failure. I was wrong. The end. Back to start. All right. Oh, to the start? Okay, we'll begin the game. Cool. I want to be pink again. I want to be Rosa. We're gonna blast through back to our... Oh, not straight ahead. No, I didn't want to go straight ahead. No! She traveled straight ahead, and walking past a doorway, a metal door slid down from above and trapped her inside. No matter what she did, she couldn't get it to reopen. "Ha ha!" a voice cackled evilly from an intercom. "That's what you get for moving straight." The end. Back to start. Oh, straight. Because it's the League of Bisexuals. So straight would be straight. That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Okay. Let's go. I meant to go left. I got ahead of myself there. I wanted to get back to where we actually were. We want to search for a cure, undo the wrongs. Cool. Look, we're almost there. Cackled from behind, Professor Goldstar, holding a vial, experimenting. I guess that's just experimenting, right? Is like, oh, your bisexuality is just a phase or something. Maybe that's what's happening here. I guess we can do the correct her calmly thing, since violence wasn't the answer. Maybe telling her to go F herself will just do the exact same thing. Let's correct her calmly. We'll do it Dumbledore style. We'll correct her calmly. Dumbledore said calmly. Nah, Rosa said. It's more like I'm bi until I die. And even then, my ghost will haunt everyone with how bi I still am. I don't think that's a correction. That's more like, what's the word I'm looking for? That's just kind of like, accidentally muted myself. It's like a snappy defiance of some kind. It was like, I didn't correct you. I defy you. I am bi until I die. And defy rhymes with that too. Bi until I die. I defy. I don't lie. I'm just a guy. Me, oh my. Okay. Professor Goldstar looks furious. If you're so stubborn, how about this? Either you admit to it, or I destroy the cure. Rosa had a choice to make. Do as the professor commanded, or F up her plan. Let's F up her plan. I don't know what we're gonna do to do that, but F up her plan. She's the evil professor. Okay, I admit that and as the professor was distracted with excitement by her words, Rosa clapped her hands together. Before the professor could react, vines broke through the floor and wrapped around her body, forcing her to the ground and keeping the vial safe. If we had magical, like, plant powers, why would I have lunged for the vial in the beginning? We should have led with that. We should have led with the superpowers. Rosa ignored the villainess's angry curses as she grabbed the vial and smashed it on the ground by the transformed creatures, turning them back into humans. See, that's why I thought it would work earlier. And as she unlocked the cages and called the authorities on her way out, she smiled as she thought eagerly about what she would tell Indy and Jay about her successful mission back at their base. I think this is part of a series of some kind. The end. The end. That was the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals. You can go back to the start. That was Rosa. I wonder if Indy and what was the other one? Like if I chose purple, Indy. So you can be Indy and you can be the other. Okay, you know what? Let's do that. I was gonna stop, but actually, let's just go. Indy was one of these people. Together, along with two others, they were part of a superhero team called the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals. One day, on a mission against the supervillain Curious the Furious, Indy was exploring an elaborate maze that the villain had hid the detonator to a bomb inside. All right. Walking into the green hedges, Indy immediately saw Curious standing above in his trademark wrestling outfit. Why, hello there, the villain greeted smugly. Glad to see you've arrived at last. Now, if you choose. I really don't have time for this, interrupted Indy. Just let me get to the detonator and maybe I'll let you go with no punishment back to your lair. Now hold on for a second, said Curious the Furious with annoyance. Just choose a proper gender and sexual orientation. I don't know who or what you are. One where you like one gender. And I'll help you get through this maze. It's that simple. I mean, like, why? Why do you care, Curious the Furious? You know what? This is kind of like oxymoronic a little bit. This is a little backwards. Curious the Furious. I get the furious thing. I get maybe he's furious that, like, if Indy is non-conforming, right, to one gender or another, or one orientation to an or another, or whatever, right? I get why maybe the frustration of, like, not understanding, you know, like, people get when they get confused, they get a little angry or whatever. Curious, though. The thing is, and I get that his name's Curious. He's Curious the Furious. He's not Furious the Curious, you know what I'm saying? But if you're curious, usually if you lead with curiosity, you seek to understand, not seek to become frustrated. So you would think you would actually be more open to asking questions rather than demanding answers. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Indy considered their potential responses here. Sure, I'll do it. F your binaries. 10001, 1000011, 100. I keep accidentally muting my microphone, and I really hope that I've been talking to you guys this whole time. My hat keeps hitting the mute button on my microphone. There's a mute button, right? Right. Can you see it? Right there. That's the mute button right there. And sometimes when I lean over, I hit it. I shouldn't have my microphone here. This microphone is not built to be at the side of my face. I'm a professional. Anyway, F your binaries.
See, you have attitude problems, Curious exclaimed. Maybe if you ended this curious phase and picked a definitive side, you'd be much more centered.
Okay, I don't need your lessons, man. I'm trying to defuse a bomb. Curious the Furious kept talking more and more. Indy thought about ignoring him, waiting for him to finish, or leaving entirely. I mean, like, the polite thing to do is let him finish and then, like, keep the dialogue going or whatever. That's, like, the polite thing to do. But I've got bombs to defuse, man. We gotta... Oh, okay. Indy decided that they had had enough of all this and left the maze entirely, no matter how much Curious called to them. Then they remembered later that they were supposed to deal with the bomb. Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, no, I was hoping I didn't mean to straight up, like, leave the maze. I just meant to, like, ignore Curious the Furious. All right. Look, F your binaries. Sure. Okay, we gotta pick us up. We gotta ignore him or wait for him to finish. What if we ignore him, yeah? Indy ignored Curious's continued lecturing and walked down a path to the maze. See, this is what I meant to do with the just walk away. That's what I meant to do. Like, just go. Just go. They heard the villain stop talking behind and how he sputtered with rage over the slight. I don't think that's the right version of slight. I could be wrong. I think that's supposed to be S-L-E-I-G-H-T. I could be wrong. Because I think S-L-I-G-H-T is slight as in, like a slight problem. Like, that's a slight inconvenience. I think slight as in, like doing someone wrong, to slight somebody, is S-L-E-I-G-H-T, I think. That's a typo. Author, what was your name? Sarah? Sarah, if you're watching this, I don't know when you made this, but it's time. Now is the time to go back and correct your mistake. We got to fix this typo situation. No, it's okay. Sputtered with rage. Coming upon another series of diverging paths, Indy sighed. This was going to take forever. Curious the Furious had jumped on top of the new set of hedges. He looked absolutely livid.
Hey, come on! Do you want to stop the bomb or not? He growled out. Just make your choices already and this will be all over.
Indy thought quickly and decided to keep walking, jump over him, give in to him. Well, if we can jump over the maze, maybe we won't be lost. Let's do the jump. Knowing they shouldn't waste any more time, Indy leapt ridiculously high into the air, passing over Curious right into the clearing where the detonator rested on a pedestal. It's amazing. As soon as they landed, Indy moved to grab it before Curious landed in front of them and got in their way again.
No! I won't let you pass! I refuse to let you until you choose!
Curious flexed his muscles to threaten with his strength. Indy thought about giving in finally, punching him or shoving him out of the way. Can we just deck him in the schnoz? Can we just deck him? He's in like a wrestling... He's like in wrestling garb. So if we like shove him, we're gonna like start grappling and wrestling. Can we just like deck him in the schnoz? No! Indy using their superhuman strength punch Curious the Furious to get him out of their way. However, because their strength was, superhuman, their punch shattered Curious's rib cage, which caused the bones to pierce his heart, killing him. Superheroes aren't supposed to murder. The end. All right. Look, we can do this. We got this. We can do this. I guess we aren't actually trying to murder. We're not trying to murder. We're like Batman. Batman, for all that he, for all the pain that he does inflict, to his enemies, he does not murder them. That's not what he's about. He's about like arresting people or whatever. Okay, cool. I think we're almost there. Let's shove him out of the way. We're not gonna give in. Shove him out of the way. Indy, using their superhuman strength, simply shoved Curious the Furious, sending him flying and knocking him out. Or that's what we thought. We sent him flying. He and then Curious hit his head on the ground, shattering his skull. Okay. Walking up, they grabbed the detonator and cautiously flipped the switch. Indy took out their phone and checked the faraway bomb's status. It had deactivated, so they sighed with a relief. And as they checked if Curious was truly unconscious and called the authorities on their way out, Indy smiled as they thought eagerly about what they would tell Jay and Rosa about their successful mission back at their base. The end. Back to start. Okay, that was Indy's story. We got one more story to do. We might as well do all three. We might as well do it. I kind of like the idea. I know that they're going with they for like a non-binary, but I don't read a lot of stories where the singular they is very common for one character. Usually they is third person plural. So in my mind, I'm almost imagining Indy, instead of being like just the singular they, I'm imagining they're like a hive mind person. Because that's something I used to joke about a lot, like on like Twitter or whatever, that I go by the royal we. Because if you don't know what the royal we is, there's this like idea that like an old like British monarchy or something, like royalty would speak for the people and on behalf of the people and whatever. So it's like we, because they speak for the nation instead of themselves. That's the idea, right? So there's this concept of the royal we. And so I like to joke. I did it again. I like to joke back in the day that I preferred the royal we because I was just being like full of myself or whatever. But I like the idea of if you go by we or they, that you're also just secretly like 10 million people inside your head because you're like this hive mind person. Anyway, that's just what was going on in my head during that. It doesn't mean anything. I'm just... Anyway, let's talk about Blue. All right. Jay was one of these people in the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals. Okay. Together, along with two others, he was part of a superhero team called the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals. One day, on a mission against the supervillain Dr. Donald Deegan... Dr. Donald Deegan. I almost feel like that's like a Donald Trump-Ronald Reagan combination. Is this going to be political? Are we about to like go to the voting booth in this right now? Because that's what that sounds like to me. Jay had broken into a hospital that the doctor had taken hostage. Okay, now we're going to the hospital. Entering a patient's room, he found a trembling patient curled into a corner. He decided to react by running forward to help, approaching them cautiously, backing slowly out. If they're like trembling, they could be like having like a PTSD or a panic attack or something like that. So probably like running at them like could be quite scary. Let's approach with some level of caution, shall we? He walked slowly forward and said, "Hey, I'm here to rescue you. Are you like okay?" At his words, the patient looked up and sprang upward at the sight of him. Suddenly, they lunged at Jay, screaming, "Disease carrier! Disease!" Jay had a brief moment to decide either to move out of the way or face them directly. I don't think we want to face them. We're not trying to get into a fight with this guy. Just kind of move out of the way. Sidestepping away, the rage-filled patient smashed into the floor, knocking himself out in the process. Poor guy. Or was it a guy, a gal? I don't know. Poor patient. Jay headed back out into the hallway and was confronted by the appearance of many wandering patients. Before they could attack him too, a monitor turned on suddenly that froze them in place. On the screen was the smirking figure of Dr. Donald Deegan. "Oh, look, one of the little superheroes," the doctor sneered. "And in a hospital, no less. How ironic. Do you feel no shame here, you spreader of disease?" Why are we a spreader of disease? Oh, do we have like AIDS or something? Like, is that like what's happening right now? Like, do we have something? Rolling his eyes at the villain's familiar line, Jay thought about smashing the screen, ignoring his question, or telling him off. I'm not really here to like tell him off. I don't want to do the smashing the screen thing because I think the screen when it came on is what froze all the patients in place. Question mark? Let's just ignore the problem. No, if you ignore the problem does not go away, it would seem. Jay ignored the doctor, who quickly grew impatient. Fine, you won't answer me? Then die! Before Jay could react, the monitor shut off and one of the patients attacked him from behind and tore into his flesh. No! Okay, well, let's try that again. Let's try that again, shall we? I believe, because I believe if we smash the monitor, we're gonna get the same response, right? Because I feel like the patients are gonna freak out. So maybe we do the tell off. Let's tell them off, I guess. Let's tell them off. Sure. Maybe if you did your actual job, curing and making warnings about illnesses instead of being an evil dickhead, you wouldn't worry so much about these so-called diseases, Jay quipped back. I still don't know what we're talking about, I'll be honest. The doctor pounded his fists on the desk. Shut it, you disgusting mass. I'll show you. I've hypnotized these patients to hate and destroy people just like you. You won't make it out of here alive. The screen switched off, and the patients unfroze, turning to attack him. Jay had to think quickly. Catching the doctor and breaking the hypnosis would free all these people, but he couldn't search forever, not with this horde chasing him. The doctor was prideful. Where in the building was he hiding? Oh, he's prideful. Probably the chief of medicine's office, because he thinks he's, like, in charge? Sure. Avoiding attackers along the way, he made it to the chief of medicine's office. And as expected, there was Dr. Donald Deegan, looking smug in his assumed victory. Jay ran up and used his powers to compel the villain to tell him the truth about the hypnosis word. The hypnosis word. The hypnosis word? Oh, is it like a trigger word or something like that? Okay. The doctor involuntarily gave him an answer. Jay ran to the desk and turned on the cameras set up there, broadcasting across the hospital as he spoke the word and broke the spell over everyone. I guess we have, like, the powers of, like, charm? Like, we can charm people? Like, or something like that? Kind of like D&D style charm? And as he tied up the doctor and called the authorities on his way out, Jay smiled as he thought eagerly about what he would tell Rosa and Indy about his successful mission back at their base. The end. That one was a little bit more straightforward and a little less clear about what disease they're talking about, because it's the League of Bisexuals, so I don't know if, like, the disease is, like, being gay or something, or if they were actually talking about, like, stigmatized diseases. Like, that's why I mentioned, like, AIDS before, where, like, that's one that's, like, highly stigmatized, but, like, what, like, you can't, like, if I have AIDS and I shake your hand, you can't catch AIDS. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works. But it's a stigmatized disease. There are other ones as well, but I'm not really a doctor. I'm not really boned up on that, so I won't speak further on that, but that's the idea. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But that was our 3 stories. I think we did it. Sarah? Other than the one typo, good job. Good job. well written. I like how short they all were. Neat little choose your own adventure. That was the League of Extraordinary Bisexuals, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode, please do all the things. And until next time, bye.